Got to bring the mic up just a little from where Joseph had it. Joseph's giving me a hard time. Every time he sees me, I'm in Carhartt's cowboy boots and a Columbia shirt. And so he said that I was trying to show him up today wearing a suit and his pastor's garb. Joseph went 5 days in a bus to come to that training, from Malawi through Tanzania, through Kenya, and into Uganda. Did 2 weeks of brutal manual drilling training, and then went home and did a whole week of training everyone that was on his team in his program in Malawi. So I'm getting like pictures back of a chalkboard on a beach side of him literally sharing everything that he learned. So what I love about Joseph is that his beliefs and his actions are inseparable. And I just praise God for him. At Water4, we've always wanted to do more and to dream big. Dick Greenlee's one of our founders. We can't help but do it. The desire to eradicate the water crisis by empowering individuals and communities around the world is core to our DNA. To do that, we needed cost-effective and appropriate technology to put in the hands of people like Joseph. That's why Steve Stewart created the Access Pump and began developing tools for a manual drilling method, a kit and pump that simplified and magnified the impact of common people. Sustainable and cost-effective technology has brought life to over 1 million people and will always be a part of who we are. But as Carmen said earlier, developing tools is only part of the solution. The real answer is developing people. The real on-the-ground impact will come from individual water warriors like Joseph, Carmen, and Christelle. And we carry a burden to help create solutions and systems that put people first, both our partners in the field and those that benefit from clean water. So over the last decade, Water4's mission has been to equip individuals and businesses to drill wells one village at a time. If you've been along for the ride, these are the stories that you've heard. This is Joseph's story, a dedicated and passionate businessman using the Water4 drilling method to drill low-cost hand pumps. Hand pumps of any kind can support 200 to 300 people, and we've done over 3,700 of them, serving well over 1 million people in the last 9 years. It's a solution that works. I've seen it. Lived in West Africa for 5 years doing it. It's the most financially efficient way ever. And it was revolutionary 10 years ago, and it's revolutionary today. Many of you sitting in this room have been a part of this journey through prayer and financial support. And the numbers I mention are real and reflect real change and impact that's happened in people's lives. To say it's life-changing is too small and sounds cliche, but it doesn't compare to the true impact that we've seen face to face. The village-by-village approach will always be a part of who we are because it's working. We'll never stop supporting individual drill teams across the continent of Africa, but we realized that we couldn't stop there, that they could do more, that they could go deeper. What if we went beyond solutions for individual villages and started looking at entire districts and counties, permanently solving the water crisis across larger and larger regions? And tonight, guided by the same spirit of innovation and empowerment, we're excited to announce to you NUMA, the next solution that's helping us go deeper to eradicate the water crisis. NUMA is a strategy for this context, a brand for our approach that aspires local people to a vision of modernity beyond typical development standards. NUMA is a Greek word, often found in the New Testament, that literally means wind, but conveys the idea of a vital spirit, soul, or the creative force of a person, and is often in reference used for the Holy Spirit, which drives all of our work at Water4. We desire each individual we empower, work alongside and partner with, all of you included, to have a deeper personal connection to our Father and a greater sense of purpose and vitality in life. It's that vision and mission that gets us out of bed every morning. Over the last couple of years, we started to look at the water crisis in 2 distinct areas, realizing that it hits both urban and rural areas equally. In small towns across Africa, water is still not accessible and the demand is astronomical. There's no investment in infrastructure to bring clean water to the masses like in our country, so the masses suffer. If you live in these settings, you do one of 2 things. You walk to an unsafe, overcrowded water source, and you spend your day collecting water next to hundreds of your neighbors. Scenes like this behind me play out every day, and this is how over 60% of people live. The second option is you pay as much as $1 for a 5-gallon jerry can for a child to go wait in line and bring that water back to you. Or worse, if you can't afford it, you keep your kids from going to school so they can do it for you. The water still isn't clean, but you have the convenience of having it more accessible. People still walk long distances, but most are willing to pay a fee to have it because they have to. It's an established market and way of life, and people know it just as business. These more densely populated areas also have a growing middle class, individuals finding jobs in the city and starting to build small homes and better lives. But they don't have running water or access to clean water either. So we began to see these densely populated areas as an opportunity, and more importantly, a market for our small business partners in Africa. Here's what we saw. If we could bring safe and filtered water to communities at high volumes, we could reach hundreds of thousands of people with clean water in these places. That's where the NUMA brand and vision come in. For $25,000, Water4 Enterprises can build a NUMA Nexus with a high-capacity deep well featuring a solar pump and a high-volume storage tank. We then install a 3-part high-end filtration system, providing the cleanest and safest water possible to people. If you look up here behind me, what you can see is it's a simple building, and it just looks like a blue box, but it's so much more than that. What you're looking at is a system that goes beyond hand pumps to something much bigger in vision. This building contains a shopkeeper who sells water with 2 taps, allowing 2 people per minute to collect beautiful, safe water. And we picked the most cost-effective, robust, and easily maintainable technology in the world, and we're seeing amazing results. The cost for safe water can easily be affordable while still netting surplus revenue too. And this surplus can go back into communities, continuing the investment, paying for more water systems, ending the need for further donor investment after a system is built. Think of it, 3,000 people getting clean, safe piped water every day from a network in their community that's fully maintained by Water4 partners on the ground. And because of the economy of scale, it costs 20 times less per person than these existing water sources. It's opportunity that literally breeds life to more opportunity. And to me, this is the parable of the talents applied to water philanthropy. No more putting money in the ground. It's putting money where it can impact tenfold. And who doesn't want to be a part of that? Another key point in this strategy is dignity. We heard in Carmen's story earlier that people want to have the right to purchase safe and clean water. When organizations give away water, they rob people of the opportunity to be a part of their own solution. But Water4 exists at its core to empower people. And when people are part of the solution, they no longer watch from the sidelines. They become active participants in developments of their own lives and communities. Which is why from the beginning, our model has been for communities to contribute either financially and or through labor to the construction of their well. We've always invited them to join because that's where truly sustainable and self-sustainable development begins. And no one in the world gets clean water for free. You don't, I don't. We each get a water bill every month, and we're happy to pay it because we know by doing so it will work and always work. And in Africa, people are trying to give away water when we know that would never work here. If we want to see the water crisis end, it's imperative that we empower individuals to be a part of the solution and do it in a way where they won't need us. A NUMA Nexus is the hub of a water supply network. The high-yield well and tank provide water to patrons at the actual site and has the ability to feed additional installations that we call nodes. Water is drawn from a nexus, is purified, and then distributed to 3 or 4 of these nodes, maximizing the impact of the initial $25,000 investment for each nexus. Each node in a network creates additional access points in the community, allowing for increased proximity, shorter wait times, without having to drill any more wells. It's more blue boxes without the cost of the new well and filtration equipment scattered throughout their entire neighborhood. We want each well to impact the maximum number of people who wouldn't. So each community can have one nexus but several access points via nodes to serve their entire community, containing a network with an impact that's 4 times greater than traditional approaches. This model ensures that each donor dollar will not only be maximized, but it's an ever-increasing investment. It catalyzes the development of the entire program and becomes truly self-perpetuating. And it gets better. We target these $10,000 hand pump wells as underutilized assets, increasing their impact tenfold, going from serving 300 people to 3,000 on day 1. But we wanted to take it further. What if we could contract with individual households in these communities to provide tap water in the schools and churches? which would all be metered but still would be safe and affordable. We're doing that, and we call these installations and connections NUMA Now, where people at their home can open a tap and have fresh water there immediately. No more waiting in lines, no more walking distances, no more pumping a pump to have it. And the revenue generated from these NUMA Now installations funds more installations of water points for those in need. And here's what we found. After the initial investment of $40,000 to $50,000 for a network, that network has the potential to be revenue neutral in 6 years, meaning that in 6 years, it's earning $6,000 a year. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's half the cost per person of what other water organizations are doing. That's 6 years later. There's a constant revenue stream pouring back into more development without any donor dollars needed. This allows Water4 enterprises to serve even more communities that may not have the resources for a NUMA system, but are perfect for manual wells and hand pumps. The strategy will spark a chain reaction, catalyzing water development through a truly self-sustainable approach. We want to create water wonderlands in these water ghettos that can fix theirs and their neighbors' problems forever. And the solution is scalable, and it's changing the way we look at everything. We're not looking at one network in one community, but we're looking at how multiple networks can be implemented across entire districts. Instead of going well by well, we want to go district by district until we achieve our ultimate goal, our obsolescence. Most importantly, this is not pie in the sky. We put our money where our mouth is and have invested in pilot programs. To date, we've installed over 72 NUMA vending sites across 5 countries. It's working right now, and right now, this very minute, 39,000 people are drinking safe, piped water, and every one of them has a unique story and purpose in life. They're part of the solution, and all of us have the privilege and opportunity to partner alongside of them. So tonight, we want to thank those of you in the room who have been with us from the beginning. Your faithfulness, prayer, and financial support have provided water to over 1 million people, and your belief in us has propelled us to dream big dreams and cast an even bigger vision. Tonight, we want to celebrate this next step with you and invite you to join us on this journey. Some of you in the room are uniquely placed to be a part of this in a big way. Please reach out to us if you're interested in making an investment that exponentially impacts on day one. You can invest individually or collectively into a nexus or network and change the face of a nation forever. There's only one chance in history to eradicate the water crisis, and you and all our teams around the world will be a part of it. Thank you. For me personally, when I'm in the field, I can't help but look in the faces of kids collecting water and think about their future. Who will they grow up to be? How will they change their communities? What I love about what we do is how we make a difference not only in their lives, but also in their long-term future, as disease is alleviated and time and opportunity are given back. A child in school is a child with a future, and we get to be a part of that. Christelle was one of those children collecting water as a child, and now she's fighting every day with her business, Water Access Rwanda, to serve her neighbors. I have an 8-month-old daughter named Alethea, and I dream she'll grow up to be like Christelle, taking on the world, sold out to God, and showing what grit and determination look like in the face of a woman. Christelle has installed 2 NUMA Nexuses already, and with plans to install 6 more this coming month in a district. Please welcome Christelle Quizera from Water Access Rwanda.